First contact's price. The quantum detection arrays at Luna Base picked up the anomalies first. Massive gravitational distortions appearing just beyond Mars' orbit, far too precise to be natural phenomena. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the readings with growing dread, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display as it tracked dozens, then hundreds of objects emerging from what could only be artificial wormholes. "Get me the Security Council now." Her voice remained steady despite the gravity of the situation. 20 years of leading Earth's deep space monitoring program had prepared her for this moment. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization was about to begin, and it wasn't going to be the peaceful exchange of knowledge and culture they'd hoped for. The Vespian Empire's arrival shattered Earth's assumptions about their place in the cosmos. Their ships appeared simultaneously over every major city worldwide, vast crystalline structures that seemed to defy physics itself. Their message was simple: surrender Earth's resources or face extinction. Admiral James Chen stood on the bridge of the EDF Armstrong, Earth's most advanced warship, watching helplessly as the alien vessels effortlessly disabled Earth's orbital defense network. The Armstrong's quantum-enhanced sensors provided a front-row seat to humanity's technological inadequacy. "Status report," he demanded, though he already knew the answer. "Sir, our shield harmonics are completely ineffective against their weapons," Lieutenant Sarah Park reported, her fingers dancing across the tactical console. "They're using some form of targeted quantum destabilization. Our best countermeasures might as well be tissue paper." The Armstrong shuddered as another Vespian beam grazed their hull. Warning klaxons blared throughout the ship as systems began failing across the board. "All hands, abandon ship," Chen ordered, his voice heavy with resignation. "Get to the escape pods." "That's an order." As his crew scrambled to evacuate, he opened a secure channel to Earth Defense Command. "This is Admiral Chen. Implementation of Protocol 0 is now authorized. Authentication code: Prometheus Rising." Thousands of kilometers below, in a facility buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Marcus Zhang received Chen's transmission. His hands trembled as he input the authentication codes, unlocking files that only a handful of people knew existed. Project Aurora, humanity's insurance policy against exactly this type of situation. "Begin wake-up sequence," he commanded, and the facility's AI responded immediately. Massive generators hummed to life, powering systems that had lain dormant for years, waiting for this moment. The Vespian assault continued with mechanical precision. Their ships methodically disabled Earth's military installations, communication networks, and power grids. Major cities fell dark as electromagnetic pulses wiped out unshielded electronics. Panic spread as governments struggled to maintain order in the face of an overwhelmingly superior force. In Washington, D.C., General Diana Santos watched the tactical displays with growing frustration. Every conventional strategy they attempted failed miserably against the Vespians' advanced technology. Nuclear weapons were neutralized before they could detonate. Kinetic strike platforms were swatted from orbit like insects. Even their most advanced electronic warfare suites couldn't penetrate the alien ship's defenses. "Ma'am," her aide interrupted, holding out a secure tablet. "Message from Antarctic Command. Priority Alpha." Santos' eyes widened as she read the message. Project Aurora was operational. They had a chance, slim as it might be. The Vespian High Commander, Nexus 12, observed Earth's futile resistance with what passed for amusement among his species. These primitives had barely mastered basic spaceflight, yet they continued to resist despite the obvious futility. Their persistence was almost admirable, in a primitive sort of way. "Status report," he commanded, his crystalline form shimming with patterns of light that conveyed both language and emotion to his crew. "Resistance continues in several sectors, High Commander," his tactical officer responded. "Their weapons are ineffective, but they show no signs of surrendering." Curious behavior for a species so obviously outmatched. "Perhaps they require a more convincing demonstration of our superiority," Nexus 12 mused. Target their largest population centers. Minimal force. We don't want to damage potential resources. Just enough to break their will to resist. In Antarctica, Dr. John worked frantically to accelerate Aurora's activation sequence. The facility shook as Vespin weapons struck the ice above, each impact bringing them closer to discovery. They needed more time. Power levels at 60%. The AI announced. Quantum core stabilization in progress. Neural interface calibration beginning. Zhang cursed under his breath. They needed at least 80% power for a stable launch, and the neural interface calibration usually took hours. Hours they didn't have. A violent explosion rocked the facility, sending equipment crashing to the floor. Warning lights flashed as multiple security breaches were detected. The Vespin had found them. Time to facility breach. 3 minutes, the AI warned. Zhang made a decision. Begin emergency startup sequence. Override safety protocols. Warning. Emergency startup poses significant risks to system stability and pilot survival. Noted. Do it anyway. As the facility's defenses engaged the first wave of Vespin assault troops, Aurora came to life. Deep in the heart of the facility, a ship unlike anything humanity had built before began powering up. Its hull, composed of self-repairing metamaterials, hummed with energy as experimental quantum systems activated simultaneously. The neural interface chair, designed to link a human pilot directly with Aurora's quantum AI core, initialized its emergency protocols. They needed a pilot, someone whose mind could handle direct neural connection with the most advanced artificial intelligence humanity had ever created. Zhang knew there was only one person qualified. He opened a secure channel to the medical wing. Captain Rivera, we need you. Now. Captain Sofia Rivera had spent the last 6 months in medical isolation, her brain chemistry carefully altered to prepare for neural integration. She was humanity's best shot at controlling Aurora, if the emergency activation didn't kill her first. I'm on my way, she responded, already disconnecting herself from the monitoring equipment. As medical staff tried to stop her, she pushed past them. There's no time. It's now or never. The facility shook again, harder this time. The Vespin were getting closer. Rivera reached the integration chamber just as Zhang finished the emergency startup sequence. She strapped herself into the neural interface chair without hesitation. You understand the risks, Zhang asked, even as he began the integration process. We haven't completed the safety protocols. This could kill you. Rivera managed a grim smile. Better to die trying than live as slaves. Her eyes met his. Do it. The neural interface activated, and Rivera's world exploded into light and data. Her consciousness expanded, merging with Aurora's quantum systems. Pain lanced through her mind as the emergency protocols forced connections that should have taken hours to establish naturally. Through their shared consciousness, she felt Aurora's systems coming online. Quantum weapons powered up, experimental shields initialized, and the revolutionary drive system began its activation sequence. Above, the Vespin breach teams finally broke through the facility's last defenses. They moved with mechanical precision through the corridors, their energy weapons ready to neutralize any resistance. They weren't prepared for what happened next. The facility's central chamber erupted as Aurora launched, its quantum drive tearing a hole through ice and rock. The ship emerged into the Antarctic sky like an avenging angel, its metamaterial hull shifting colors in the polar light. On the Vespin command ship, Nexus 12 received the first reports with disbelief. Unknown vessel detected, his tactical officer announced. Energy signatures, impossible. They're using quantum technology that shouldn't exist at their development level. Destroy it, Nexus 12 ordered. Immediately, multiple Vespin ships opened fire, their quantum destabilization beams lancing toward Aurora. The human ship's shields flared with impossible energy, absorbing attacks that had shredded Earth's best defenses. Inside Aurora, Rivera felt the attacks as if they were striking her own body. But through the pain, she smiled. The neural interface was working better than anyone had hoped. She wasn't just controlling Aurora. She was Aurora. "Let's show them what humanity can do," she whispered, though whether the words came from her human voice or Aurora's quantum processors, even she couldn't tell. Aurora moved with impossible speed and grace, its quantum weapons returning fire. Where Earth's conventional weapons had failed completely, Aurora's attacks struck home. Vespin shields flickered and failed as precisely targeted quantum beams disrupted their very molecular structure. The battle for Earth was about to change dramatically, and the Vespin Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity's resourcefulness. Their technological superiority meant nothing in the face of human determination and ingenuity. And this was only the beginning. Project Aurora. 3 months before the Vespin invasion, Dr. Marcus Zhang stood in front of Project Aurora's development team, his expression grave as he delivered news that would change everything. "The quantum signatures we detected near the Kuiper Belt. They're artificial. We're not alone, and whoever's out there is far more advanced than us." The assembled scientists and engineers sat in stunned silence. They'd been working on Aurora for 5 years, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge in quantum physics, artificial intelligence, and neural integration. Now they learned it wasn't just a theoretical exercise. It was a race against time. Dr. Lyra Patel, head of Aurora's quantum propulsion team, broke the silence. "How long?" "Best estimate, 6 months before they reach Earth." Zhang activated a holographic display showing the approaching signatures. "Maybe less if they can accelerate beyond our current detection capabilities." "Aurora's not ready," Lyra stated flatly. "The quantum core is stable, but we're having massive issues with the neural interface. Human minds aren't meant to process quantum states. The simulations all end in." She trailed off, unwilling to describe the gruesome results of their latest tests. Zhang nodded grimly. "That's why I've authorized Protocol Omega. We're moving to live trials." The room erupted in protests. Protocol Omega was considered too dangerous, too experimental. It involved fundamentally altering the human pilot's brain chemistry to handle quantum processing. The potential for success was minimal. The risk of driving the pilot insane, or worse, was almost certain. "We don't have a choice," Zhang continued over the objections. "Conventional weapons and controls won't be enough against a civilization capable of casual interstellar travel. We need Aurora operational, and that means we need a pilot who can interface directly with quantum systems." In the facility's medical wing, Captain Sofia Rivera watched her own brain scans with clinical detachment. The changes were already visible, new neural pathways forming, existing ones reorganizing themselves in response to the experimental treatments. She'd volunteered for Protocol Omega knowing the risks, understanding that success was unlikely and survival even less so. Dr. Sarah Chen, the project's chief medical officer, adjusted the flow of nanites into Rivera's bloodstream. "How are you feeling?" "Like my thoughts are too big for my head," Rivera replied, rubbing her temples. "And I keep seeing patterns in everything. Numbers that shouldn't make sense but do." Chen made a note in her tablet. "That's expected. Your brain is learning to process quantum information. Traditional binary thinking is being supplemented with quantum states, superposition, entanglement, quantum tunneling. You're starting to see reality the way Aurora's AI does." Rivera closed her eyes, trying to focus through the cascade of quantum possibilities flowing through her consciousness. Will it be enough? Chen had no answer. In the engineering bay, Lyra worked frantically to stabilize Aurora's quantum core. The experimental ship was a marvel of human engineering, a fusion of conventional technology and quantum systems that shouldn't have been possible for decades. Its hull was composed of self-repairing metamaterials that could adapt to any attack. The quantum weapon systems could theoretically bypass any known form of shielding, but none of it mattered without a pilot who could control it all. "Core stability at 67%, her assistant reported. "Still seeing fluctuations in the quantum field harmonics." Lyra swore under her breath. They needed at least 95% stability for safe operation. Even with Rivera's enhanced neural capabilities, anything less risked catastrophic failure during combat. Reroute power through the secondary containment grid, she ordered. And get me a direct feed from the neural interface lab. I need to see how the quantum signatures are affecting Rivera's brainwave patterns. The next 3 months were a blur of breakthrough and setback, triumph and tragedy. 2 more pilot candidates died during neural integration attempts, their minds unable to handle the quantum interface. Rivera survived, but the toll on her body and mind was evident. She spent hours in meditation, learning to control the quantum awareness that threatened to overwhelm her consciousness. Zhang watched it all with growing concern. The approaching alien signatures had multiplied, suggesting a fleet rather than a single ship. Earth's conventional defenses would be useless against them. Everything hinged on Aurora and Rivera. 1 week before the invasion, they attempted the first full neural integration test. Rivera sat in the interface chair, surrounded by monitoring equipment and concerned faces. Neural probes extended from the headrest, preparing to connect her quantum-enhanced consciousness with Aurora's AI core. Remember, Chen instructed, don't fight the quantum states. Let them flow through you. Aurora's AI will help stabilize the connection, but you have to remain open to it. Rivera nodded, her eyes already distant as she prepared herself mentally. Initialize interface. The neural probes activated, and Rivera's world dissolved into quantum possibility. She felt her consciousness expand, merging with Aurora's vast quantum networks. Information flooded her awareness: system status, weapon configurations, shield harmonics, quantum field density readings. It should have been overwhelming, but her enhanced mind processed it all with impossible speed. Neural interface stable, Chen reported, wonder in her voice. Quantum coherence at 89% and holding. She's doing it. Through their shared consciousness, Rivera felt Aurora's systems responding to her thoughts. The quantum core pulsed with power, weapons came online, and shields hummed with potential energy. It was like gaining an entirely new body, one built from quantum technology and human determination. How do you feel? Zhang asked through the communication system. Rivera opened her eyes, which now shimmered with quantum energy. I feel complete. Aurora isn't just a ship, she's an extension of me. We are one. The test was a success, but it was only the beginning. No simulation could fully prepare them for actual combat against an advanced alien civilization. They had created something unprecedented, a fusion of human consciousness and quantum technology that defied conventional understanding. As the first Vespin ships appeared in Earth's solar system, Project Aurora stood ready. They had done the impossible, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and capability beyond anything previously imagined. Now they would discover if it was enough to save humanity from extinction. In the facility's main control room, Zhang watched the approaching alien fleet with grim determination. Years of work, countless sacrifices, and humanity's future all came down to this moment. He opened a channel to the medical bay where Rivera was preparing for what could be humanity's last stand. Are you ready? Rivera's voice came back strong and clear, already harmonizing with Aurora's quantum systems. We were born ready, Doctor. Let's show these aliens what humanity can do when pushed to the edge. The time for preparation was over. The real test was about to begin. The first strike. Aurora emerged from the Antarctic facility like a quantum ghost, her metamaterial hull shifting between states of matter as Rivera guided them through the chaos of Earth's defense. Through their neural link, Rivera felt every system singing with power, the quantum core humming in perfect harmony with her enhanced consciousness. The Vespin noticed immediately. Multiple ships broke formation to engage this new threat, their quantum destabilization beams cutting through the atmosphere. But Aurora moved with impossible grace, each maneuver predicted and executed through the quantum calculations flowing through Rivera's mind. Unknown vessel detected. The Vespin tactical officer reported to High Commander Nexus 12. Energy signatures suggest quantum technology beyond their documented capabilities. Nexus 12's crystalline form pulsed with concern. Impossible. Their civilization is centuries away from stable quantum manipulation. Destroy it. Aurora's first counterattack shocked the Vespin fleet. Rivera channeled power through the quantum weapons array, targeting the lead ship's molecular structure. The beam struck home, bypassing advanced shields to disrupt the very fabric of the vessel's hull. The Vespin ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, its matter scattered across quantum states. How? Nexus 12 demanded, as data streamed through his neural matrix. Their weapon. It's operating on principles we haven't mastered. Through Aurora's sensors, Rivera watched the Vespin fleet regroup. Their rigid tactical patterns were easy to predict. Too perfect, too mathematical. They lacked the human element, the ability to embrace chaos and uncertainty. She smiled, understanding their weakness. They think in binary, she communicated to Zhang through the quantum link. Their technology is advanced, but their thinking is linear. They can't adapt to quantum uncertainty the way we can. Zhang watched from the command center as Aurora danced through the Vespin formation, each movement a perfect fusion of human intuition and quantum calculation. Then show them what humanity can do when we embrace the impossible. Rivera unleashed Aurora's full capabilities. The ship phased between quantum states, existing in multiple positions simultaneously. Vespin targeting systems couldn't lock onto a vessel that defied conventional physics. Their attacks passed through empty space, while Aurora struck from impossible angles. 3 more Vespin ships fell to Aurora's quantum weapons before they began to adapt. They switched tactics, trying to trap Aurora in a crossfire of gravitational distortion fields. But Rivera had already calculated their move, using Aurora's quantum drive to tunnel through spacetime itself. The battle reached its climax above the ruins of New York. Aurora emerged from a quantum tunnel directly behind the Vespin command ship, weapons charged. But instead of firing, Rivera opened a communication channel. "Your tactics are predictable," she transmitted. "You rely too heavily on technological superiority without understanding its true potential. Quantum systems aren't meant to be controlled. They're meant to be partnered with." Nexus 12's response crackled with disbelief. "You're primitive beings. Your civilization barely understands basic spaceflight. How did you master quantum integration?" "We didn't master it," Rivera replied. "We embraced its uncertainty. Your empire's weakness is believing that advanced technology alone determines superiority. But it's not the technology that matters. It's how you use it." To demonstrate her point, Rivera executed a maneuver that should have been impossible. Aurora split into quantum echoes, each one appearing to be the real ship, each one targeting a different Vespin vessel. The alien sensors couldn't distinguish the true Aurora from its quantum reflections. In the command center, John watched as the Vespin fleet fell into disarray. Their perfect formations broke apart as they tried to target multiple Auroras simultaneously. "They're retreating," he announced. "Their fleet is pulling back to lunar orbit." Rivera felt Aurora's quantum core pulse with satisfaction. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't technology. It was their ability to adapt, to think beyond conventional limitations. The Vespin's technological superiority meant nothing against the combination of human creativity and quantum integration. But this was only the first battle. As the Vespin fleet regrouped, Rivera knew they would return with new tactics, new weapons. They wouldn't underestimate humanity again. Through her neural link with Aurora, she began calculating quantum probabilities for the battles to come. The war for Earth's survival was just beginning, but humanity had shown they weren't the primitive beings the Vespin assumed. They had done more than match alien technology. They had surpassed it by understanding that true advancement came from embracing uncertainty rather than trying to control it. Zhang opened a channel to all Earth's remaining defense forces. "The Vespin aren't invincible. Aurora has shown us the way forward. Now we show them why humanity never stops fighting, never stops innovating, even when faced with impossible odds. Aurora hung in the dawn sky, her quantum core pulsing with power, ready for whatever came next. Through their neural link, Rivera felt the ship's systems harmonizing with her consciousness, preparing for the battles ahead. The Vespin would return, but humanity would be ready. They had proven that the human spirit, combined with the right technology, could overcome any obstacle. The age of humanity hiding in Earth's cradle was over. The galaxy would learn that underestimating human determination was a costly mistake. Quantum evolution. The Vespin Empire had never known defeat. For millennia, they had expanded across the galaxy, their quantum technology overwhelming any civilization they encountered. Now, a single human ship had forced their entire fleet into retreat. High Commander Nexus 12's crystalline form pulsed with patterns that his subordinates had never seen before, the Vespin equivalent of rage. Analysis complete, his science officer reported. The human vessel's quantum signatures are chaotic. They're allowing quantum uncertainty to exist within their systems rather than forcing stability. It should be impossible. The energy requirements alone. And yet they achieved it. Nexus 12 interrupted. Prepare the symmetry protocol. If they want to embrace chaos, we'll show them true quantum mastery. On Earth, humanity wasn't wasting their advantage. Dr. Zhang's team worked frantically to analyze the data from Aurora's battle. Captain Rivera's neural link had recorded everything. Every quantum interaction, every impossible maneuver, every flaw in Vespin tactical doctrine. Their problem is predictability. Rivera explained through Aurora's quantum communication array. Her consciousness, permanently linked with the ship's systems, processed information faster than any human brain could naturally achieve. They treat quantum mechanics like classical physics, trying to force order onto chaos. Dr. Lyra Patel nodded, studying the holographic battle analysis. Their technology is more advanced, but their approach is fundamentally flawed. They're trying to control quantum states instead of working with them. Above Earth's atmosphere, the Vespin fleet was changing. Their ships merged and reformed, crystalline structures flowing like liquid metal until they formed a perfect geometric pattern. The symmetry protocol was designed to create a quantum superstructure, a network of ships operating as a single entity. Energy spike detected. Aurora's AI warned through Rivera's neural link. They're attempting to establish a controlled quantum field across their entire fleet. Rivera felt the change through Aurora's sensors. The quantum probability waves emanating from the Vespin fleet were becoming more ordered, more focused. They were trying to impose their will on reality itself. That's their mistake, Rivera transmitted to Earth Command. They still think quantum mechanics can be controlled. Aurora, initialize emergence protocols. The experimental ship's quantum core pulsed with new energy as Rivera implemented the theories they'd developed since their first victory. Aurora's hull began to shift, not just between states of matter, but between states of possibility. The Vespin attack came with perfect synchronization. Every ship fired simultaneously, their quantum weapons linked into a single overwhelming force. The energy beam that lanced toward Aurora could have vaporized a small moon. But Aurora wasn't there, wasn't anywhere. Rivera had pushed their quantum integration to its limit, allowing the ship to exist in a state of pure probability. The Vespin attack passed through empty space as Aurora's quantum echoes appeared throughout their formation. Impossible. Nexus 12 broadcast. No system can maintain quantum superposition at that scale. No system operating on your principles, Rivera replied. Through their neural link, she felt Aurora's satisfaction as they demonstrated humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt and evolve. You try to impose order on quantum mechanics. We've learned to surf the probability waves. The battle that followed defied conventional physics. The Vespin fleet's perfect symmetry encountered Aurora's controlled chaos. Each side pushed quantum technology to its limits, but in fundamentally different ways. The Vespin symmetry protocol, created a quantum network of unprecedented power, allowing their ships to coordinate with perfect precision. But that same perfection made them vulnerable to Aurora's unpredictable quantum state shifts. Rivera struck from multiple probability vectors simultaneously, Aurora's quantum weapons disrupting the Vespin's carefully maintained order. Their synchronized defenses crumbled against attacks that existed in superposition, hitting multiple targets across quantum states. Their weakness is their strength, Rivera transmitted to Earth Command as she pressed the attack. The more they try to control quantum mechanics, the more vulnerable they become to true quantum uncertainty. The Vespin fleet's perfect formation began to break apart as Aurora's attacks disrupted their quantum synchronization. Ships crashed into each other as targeting systems failed to compensate for probability fluctuations they weren't designed to handle. But victory came at a cost. Rivera felt the strain of maintaining quantum superposition across Aurora's systems. The neural interface burned in her mind as they pushed the boundaries of what should have been possible. "Captain, your neural patterns are becoming unstable," Aurora's AI warned. Continued quantum state manipulation at this level risks permanent consciousness divergence. Rivera ignored the warning, pushing deeper into quantum probability space. The Vespin fleet was vulnerable, their rigid quantum protocols unable to adapt to Aurora's chaos-embracing tactics. One final strike could end this phase of the war. "Sometimes you have to roll the quantum dice," she transmitted, her consciousness fragmenting across probability states as Aurora prepared for their final attack. The fate of Earth would be decided by who better understood the true nature of quantum mechanics, those who sought to control it, or those who learned to embrace its inherent uncertainty. Beyond the binary, as Aurora prepared for its final attack, Captain Rivera's consciousness existed across multiple quantum states, each one offering a different path to victory. The neural interface burned with information as human intuition and quantum probability merged into something entirely new. The Vespin fleet's symmetry protocol was failing, their perfect formation disrupted by Aurora's quantum chaos. High Commander Nexus 12 watched his tactical displays dissolve into probability clouds, his centuries of military doctrine useless against this new form of warfare. "Your civilization's greatest flaw," Rivera transmitted, her thoughts fragmenting across quantum states, "is believing that advancement means control. You never learn to embrace uncertainty." Aurora struck, not with weapons, but with possibility itself. The ship's quantum core pulsed with unprecedented power as Rivera initiated what Dr. Zhang's team had dubbed the uncertainty cascade. Instead of attacking the Vespin ships directly, Aurora began influencing the quantum probability fields surrounding them. "What are you doing?" Nexus 12 demanded as his ship's quantum networks began to fluctuate wildly. "This defies all known physics." "No," Rivera responded, pushing through the pain of quantum consciousness separation. "It defies your understanding of physics. Humanity didn't try to master quantum mechanics. We learned to dance with it." The uncertainty cascade spread through the Vespin fleet like a virus, disrupting their carefully maintained quantum synchronization. Ships began to phase between states of matter as their control systems failed to compensate for true quantum uncertainty. But victory came at a devastating price. Rivera felt her consciousness splitting across probability spaces, her identity fragmenting as Aurora's quantum systems pushed beyond their design limits. Through their neural link, Aurora's AI recognized the danger. "Captain, neural pattern collapse imminent. You must terminate the quantum link or risk permanent consciousness divergence." Rivera ignored the warning, pushing deeper into quantum probability space. Sometimes the only way forward is through. Initiate final probability convergence. In the Antarctic Command Center, Dr. Zhang watched in horror as Rivera's neural patterns began to dissolve across quantum states. "Captain, abort the attack. Your consciousness is dispersing. Trust the uncertainty." Rivera's voice came through, fragmented across multiple quantum frequencies. "Humanity's strength isn't controlling chaos. It's becoming one with it." Aurora's quantum core reached critical resonance, creating a probability wave that encompassed the entire Vespin fleet. For a moment, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. Then the wave collapsed, and everything changed. The Vespin ships didn't explode or disappear. Instead, they transformed. Their rigid crystalline structures evolved, becoming fluid and organic. Through the quantum link, Rivera felt the change in their very consciousness. The Vespin were experiencing true quantum existence for the first time. What is this? Nexus 12's transmission carried wonder rather than fear. We can see everything, all possibilities, all paths. Welcome to quantum consciousness, Rivera responded, her own fragmented awareness beginning to reconverge. This is what happens when you stop trying to control quantum mechanics and learn to become one with it. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Vespin fleet hung in Earth's orbit, their ships and consciousness forever changed by exposure to true quantum integration. Humanity had defeated them not through superior firepower, but by showing them a new way of existing. We were wrong. Nexus 12 transmitted to Earth Command. Your species isn't primitive. You're evolutionary pioneers. You've achieved something we never considered possible because we were too focused on control rather than cooperation with quantum reality. The war ended that day, but its implications echoed across the galaxy. The Vespin Empire transformed from conquerors to students, eager to learn humanity's approach to quantum integration. Earth gained not just security, but a place among the stars as teachers of a new way of thinking about consciousness and reality. Aurora landed at the Antarctic facility, its quantum core humming with satisfied energy. Rivera emerged from the neural interface, changed but whole, her consciousness expanded by the experience of existing across quantum states. She had proved that humanity's greatest strength wasn't technological superiority, but the ability to adapt and evolve beyond conventional limitations. Dr. Zhang met her as she stepped onto solid ground. "You risked everything," he said, supporting her still shaky steps. "Complete quantum consciousness integration could have scattered your identity across probability space forever." Rivera smiled, her eyes still shimmering with quantum energy. "Sometimes you have to embrace uncertainty to discover new possibilities. That's what makes us human. We don't just survive, we transform. And now we've shown the galaxy that true advancement comes not from controlling the universe, but from learning to dance with it." As humanity and the Vespin began sharing their knowledge, a new age of quantum civilization dawned. The galaxy would never be the same, transformed by the species that dared to embrace uncertainty and evolve beyond the binary limitations of control versus chaos. Earth's first interstellar war had ended not with destruction, but with transcendence.